Premed office hours for August 27th, 2025. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, founder of Medical School Headquarters, host of the Premed Years podcast, author of the Premed Playbook series. But it is my privilege every day to be a colleague to these two wonderful people. Courtney Dunford, formerly Lewis, former director of admissions at Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Everything's great.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, Lego movie.
Part of a team.
Classic. I love the Lego movie.
It's so good. I made a Lego reference recently. I was at I was at a friend's family's house. So there's always some awkwardness of like, I don't really know anyone, although I did know some of these people in passing because we were all at his wedding together. So I met them many years ago, but they were talking about Lego, and I'm like, did the Craggle get them? And they're like, oh, like pulled that one. Oh, the Craggle. Do you know of Craggle, Dr. Crispin?
I don't know of Craggle. I know that everything is awesome.
Yeah. So in the Lego movie, Craggle is the enemy. It's super glue. It's crazy glue.
Nice.
And the logo's all warped and stuff, so it looks like Craggle.
Very nice.
Yes, I love it. Such a good movie. Anyway, Dr. Christine Crispin, also here, former director of admissions at UC Irvine, AdCom member, director of curriculum at Keck Med at USC.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
How are the airplanes?
Airplanes are not as exciting right now because we were back in school and the boys like navigating all that. But he did get, I need to share the video. I don't think I did. He got a new Concorde plane when we were in Chicago. And they had it shipped here. So it was here when we got home from our trip. And he opened the box and I recorded him. And he has his little happy dance at the end when he opens it. It was hilarious. I didn't think it would be like this. And he's like dissecting the size of what he thought it would be. And it was actually very fun. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
for those who don't know, Dr. Crispin's son is a huge fan of airplanes, as am I. So we nerd out on airplanes. If you didn't see the news, not talking about Travis and Taylor, we don't need to talk about that. The big haboob in Phoenix, the dust storm, which I just love the name.
That name is weird. It's a weird one.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever looked up the origin of it. I'm sure it makes sense, but anyway, Christine, I don't know if you saw, there were videos of people on the like tarmac in a plane with this big dust storm coming in, and Maryland won, the Southwest livery was there.
I've
and
seen
people
that
were
one,
nerding out in
actually.
the comments going, you caught Maryland won. I'm like, you guys are nerds, but I'm a nerd with them. So
we caught Freedom One in Burbank. And I have that video where
I've seen that video. Yeah.
Yeah. He has the model of Freedom One. My husband looked up the tail. We went to Burbank. It took off. It's a thing.
It's so cute.
But we've seen Maryland One too. I've seen that at the airport a few times. I've seen Texas. I think we've seen Maryland. There's a few of them we've seen.
Have you seen the Dunkin' Donuts JetBlue one yet?
No, but I've seen some Disney ones. I think it's either JetBlue or Alaska.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Welcome to Airplane Talk, brought to you by Medical School.
I can have this conversation. I recently learned from the kid what a livery actually was because I did not know.
Yeah.
And the stabilizers and the fuselage. My 9-year-old can have these discussions of what those are. It's kind of scary.
I love it. For those of you who are wondering what the heck's going on here, we're waiting for your questions. No questions have come in, so ask some questions. Courtney and Christine, former directors of admissions at medical schools. Me, I'm just some dude that gets to hang out with them, and we're here to answer your questions for the hour. So have them come fast and furious, and we'll get to as many as we can in the hour. I do want to start with a little bit of news with MCAT. New news.
There you go. You said it right.
We can't copy it. I did like how Travis and Taylor harmonized that part. That was pretty good. We're not going to talk about them, darn it.
Is it today going to be the the new podcast? I'm sure we're going to talk about it on the podcast, on their podcast.
Yeah, probably.
The start of the season.
Yeah, there you go. MCAT registration changes. There's big changes for you all watching, and for advisors too that are here with me. The MCAT registration historically has been, dates are announced in September. They're announced earlier this year for some reason. And then registration opens in October for the January to June test dates. They made the announcement this year that's just kind of thrown in there that October registration is for every test date in 2026. And so this means, right, I always joke, not to bring up Taylor again, I always joke that MCAT registration is harder. It's like worse than getting Taylor Swift tickets. It's going to be even worse this year, because now the students who are testing in July, August, September are also going to be registering in October. And so it's less students, I think, overall than the January to June people, but it's going to make that process probably a little bit harder. So stay tuned for that. And then there is one date in February, February 13th, I believe. It's a new thing. They're going to test the waters with a February date and see how that goes. And I think actually now talking out loud with it is that second registration for July, August, September was always in February. And so I think they're saying, oh, we're going to offer a February date, and we're going to take our team and not distract them with registration, and let's just do it all in October.
It was very kind of them to not put it on the 14th, so people can get their, they're crying out on 13th and still have a wonderful date with their loved one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful.
That's so wonderful of them.
All
right.
Can talk about MAPSCON.
MAPSCON? What is that? MAPSCON. You want to talk about MAPSCON, Courtney?
Just a big health fair that we're doing. Yeah. So upcoming September 13th, to bring up another 13, which is also a number Taylor and Travis love. I know like numerology. 3 things. I know like 3 things about Taylor Swift, and I think we just covered all of them. And I've maxed out on my Taylor as well at this point. But,
I think we need Easter eggs on MAPSCON for like things that are coming.
What a good idea. So September 13th, this is for people kind of pre-med starting freshman year on, even those who are in an active cycle. Christine and I are presenting together. We both love the topic we're presenting on, which is going to be helping pre-meds kind of early on in their path be very thoughtful about their preparation and kind of strategic, and what you need to do in kind of the years leading up to your application to end up with a good result on the back end. But we're covering all kinds of topics. Again, covers all spans of the pre-med process ahead of getting in, including active. And then there are other health professions that will be kind of in tandem to that on the same day and have a different path for them. I think specifically PA, they're going to have a path and things like that. But health fair, there also be schools there to talk to and things like that who are giving their own presentation or who are available to chat. And I can confirm that attending those types of sessions can be incredibly helpful from an admission standpoint. I know I ended up matriculating a number of students that I met at health fairs and had a really good conversation with. There was definitely a good match there, it seemed like, and it ultimately ended up we both won at the end of the day. But you want to be attending health fairs and talking to schools, becoming a known quantity to them. So just a day-long event, September 13th. I think that's kind of the high-level overview of the date. But there's an agenda up. There's a web page associated with it. So registration is free.
Free.
That's what I was going to say. It's free. Not a lot of health fairs are free. So take advantage.
Hang out.
And there's no travel costs.
No travel costs.
Yeah, exactly.
I have 2 panels that I'm doing, one with, and I generally don't like to split up MD versus DO, but there's too many people that I want to talk to, and so that's just made it easy to split it up MD DO. On the MD panel, we have Dr. Rafael Rivera, the Dean of Admissions from NYU, Dr. Layla Amiri, the Dean of Admissions from Larner College of Medicine at Vermont, and we have Juliet Hill, the Director of Admissions from Go Gators, the University of Florida. And then we will have a DO panel that I'm finalizing the speakers there, but will be all awesome people as well. And then the closing keynote will be a fireside chat between myself and Dr. Ricky Brown, who is the real TikTok doc on TikTok. He's also on Instagram. You can go find him. He's a plastic surgeon based out in Arizona who does a lot of amazing education videos, some fun parody stuff like all the plastic surgeons do. Unfortunately, he's a Georgia Bulldog, but I don't hold that against him often.
It's nice to be able to kind of highlight, like, we're well-connected individuals, you know? It's like we had careers. We're calling in our acquaintances, our colleagues, our past colleagues and stuff like that to come and chat directly with you guys and give you somewhat of insider information on how to be competitive applicants for them. Again, they win if they get you and you want to be there and you're well prepared. And so it's nice to hear like all of this stuff come together and be able to utilize that prior knowledge, resource, connections for this side of it too. So,
I mean, just on a personal, I love to go to those kind of panels too, though, because I feel like I make sure that what I say is accurate, that I learn more, I listen, and I can figure out, I can adapt if I need to. Like I used to go to UCLA's a lot and I would try to, okay, good. That's my message. I'm good. And I feel there's some validation there to make sure that I am current too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're always learning. I mean, our team is constantly going to conferences and learning and connecting and all that stuff. So, these are some questions. Voidbot job didn't like me taking classes, so I had to withdraw. Any issues with online programs like UNE Online for prereq classes? UNE, I think, is one of the more popular ones that people know about for online classes, especially that silly biochem that always seems to haunt people. Courtney, as we always say, kind of depends on the school. I would say it seems like schools are getting more and more okay with this. What do you think? Still an issue?
I would say yes. I would say maybe they're more open to considering, but there's going to be enough of them that it wouldn't be in your favor. You wouldn't be strengthening necessarily. They are mandatory, right? These are required courses that you have to take, but I still think that there's likely enough faculty that want in person when it comes to your labs. And they find a lot of value by having colleagues or, other faculty professors teach those and assess you and write your letters. And so it's risky. It is risky to go about it by doing online programs. I wouldn't advise somebody to do it. I wouldn't. I would tell them this is not a good option. Seek out in person to open some more doors for yourself, unless you absolutely have to. But just know your school list may be very limited if you do it that way.
Yeah. So I like going to the MSAR because it's like the source of truth for MD schools, the Choose DO Explorer for DO schools. And you can see I'm on the first school. It's alphabetical by state. So USA, University of South Alabama here, we get anthropology required. Actually, that's very interesting. Or any of the behavioral sciences. They do accept an online course for this, but if you look at biochemistry, no. Like they'll accept it for COVID years, but after that, not gonna fly. So you can see the hard sciences here, not okay. You get into literature, mathematics, they're like, yep, that's fine. So there is still an issue at that school. You have Alice Walton, the new school in Arkansas. They said, yeah, no problem. So this is just go here and look at where you're potentially interested in going. Cal North State, finally fully accredited. They say no. So just go look through that list and see what they say.
I think a lot of them will come with that asterisk of during COVID years. They will
Right.
take them. And even if they will accept them, it doesn't necessarily mean they see you as competitive. I think they just have to put that in there so they don't inadvertently rule some individuals out that have kind of extenuating circumstances. But
yeah,
I would not do it if I were you.
Yeah. Ashley asks, do medical schools see when you add them? Is it better to add a school once you're almost done writing their secondary so that the secondary turnaround time is quick? Christine, students out there playing games. Let's answer the question directly, right? When you pulled information from AMCAS, and maybe Courtney, you can tell me if a COMIS is different. When you pulled information from AMCAS, would you see the date that the student added your school? Or would you be able to do some math to go, hey, this was verified 3 weeks ago, and for some reason I just pulled it, even though I've been pulling every day? What's the answer here?
I don't remember seeing when they added, but obviously if I pulled on Monday and they weren't there and they're there on Tuesday, and I'm paying attention to that, I could, there's a process of elimination and a process of deduction that you can go through to get that information.
Does it matter?
I think that's going to be school by school.
Yeah.
I would say, did it matter to me? No, because you just go into you fall in line where you fall in the review. But the reality is, if somebody's going to take the time and try to do the math and figure it out, then it obviously does matter to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to a dean of admissions at a school in the Northeast who is exploring using AI tools to help figure out who to interview, or whom to interview. I don't know which one to use there. Who to interview, because in their words, if they could cut down from interviewing 600 people to 300 people and still get the same yield of filling their class, that reduction in resource expenditure of just time and money to bring people together and do whatever is worthwhile to them. And so to me, like, the schools that care about reducing the resources that they're using for interview days, and on the back end, sending out acceptances, potentially getting rejected from the student, this is one data point to go, hey, like, you applied to us much later than everyone else, or much later
Be an
than
afterthought.
was verified. Are you just adding us because you're worried you're not going to get in and you really don't want to go to our school?
Yeah.
So.
I think what the students maybe don't realize are a lot of secondaries are housed on third-party platforms like Zap Solutions or Liaison, which anyways. So they have to pull data from the application platforms and it rolls in to us in some ways. And so it's, there's tells, right?
Submit your applications, add the schools, turn the secondaries around. That's what's in your control. Stop worrying about playing games that you think are going to help somehow.
Yeah.
Will, hey, Dr. Gray and team. I interviewed at my top choice school earlier this month. They released decisions in October. Should I send a letter of intent? and planning on an update letter already. Courtney, it seems premature to start thinking about this. It's like, you know that the school is going to update in October. I'm assuming this is an MD school. They're not allowed to start sending acceptances and admissions decisions until mid-October. Just wait or keep bugging. What do you think?
I don't know. Like I was saying, some like, it depends.
Yeah.
At its core, any content that you're going to send a school outside of your application in the secondary, just double check that they even accept that content. Some schools are very vocal that they don't want anything from you. And if they have an update, they'll contact you. And so just always be mindful of that. Double check before you send. I do think you should let the process play out. You don't know what your decision is yet. I don't really have a definitive answer on this, to be perfectly honest. I don't know, Christine, if you've have different feelings or strong feelings, but
I mean, my initial reaction was just no.
yeah.
Certainly a letter of intent. An update letter, again, I think to Courtney's point, what's going to change in 6 weeks that you would feel that you need to quote unquote update? First and foremost, an update should be something toward an update. I also have seen, and this is where my anxiety kicks in on this, I've seen students talk themselves out of an acceptance through an update letter, through an intent letter, because they just get too, they let their crazy out before they were accepted, and it backfired. I have a story that goes with that, and it's just, I think, Courtney, your point of caution is spot on. I would use caution on that.
Yeah. Caution. It's an interesting question here from Nick over on Instagram. Hey, y'all, just curious, 505 MCAT, 345 GPA, non-trad, current full-time EMT with 1,600 plus hours, volunteer firefighter, total volunteers hours 700 to 900 hours, also applying Army HPSP. Nick, you don't really have a question here. My guess is you're wondering, what are your chances? Because that's what everyone always wants to know. I want to I can't think of the right word. Approach? That's not the right word. I want to talk about the Army HPSP comment at the end. I think a lot of students think that applying HPSP will help their acceptances to medical school for some reason, thinking, oh, like the government's paying for medical school, therefore the school's more likely to accept me.
They don't care.
Number one, they don't care, right? They're going to get their money no matter what. Number two, you don't actually apply for the HPSP scholarship until you have an acceptance. So there's a chicken and egg there that you're putting the egg before the chicken, which I don't know if we've ever answered that question. What came first? But anyway.
Okay. Well, hang on, because I'm thinking back to a life prior that I had with somebody who was in Air Force ROTC.
Yep.
And he was
ROTC is
granted,
a little different because
ROTC
you have to basically say, hey, ROTC, I actually don't want to go active duty. I want to apply to medical school. And so they have to agree to let you apply for HPSP before that process. So the ROTC to HPSP is different, which is very unfortunately a much harder path.
Yeah.
But yes, in that case, they would know they had HPSP before.
Yeah. You only get one shot at it though. So it's risky. I mean, you have to do the commitment. They'll kind of say, yes, you're eligible. Yes, we would give it if you get in. But if you don't get in, You don't have options. It's not like yeah, sure, we'll let you try again. No. So there was always some risk associated with that. But yeah, they'll accommodate it, but it doesn't make you more competitive.
I was talking to a parent the other day. His kid is a ROTC and wants to go to med school, and I'm like if you can get out of ROTC now, I would. Right? Don't do whatever it is that actually commits you to the military, because you're in ROTC because the military wants you to do whatever it is that you're going to do after ROTC, not because they're excited for you to go back into school for 4 more years and then residency and all that. I had one classmate in medical school who was HPSP with me, and she was ROTC as well. And she said it's brutally competitive to try to get HPSP after ROTC. So Nick, I mean, to answer your question, 3.45 is a low GPA. I need to know more. What are your trends there? 505 MCAT, not the best. So there's a lot of conversation to have. So maybe a 30-minute session with one of our advisors to really dig in and see what's going on there.
One of my cycle students, this is very serendipitous, I actually got his white coat email like 2 days ago. Nice. But he was a volunteer firefighter for a lot of hours. And he also had some EMT work. Potentially a little bit of similarities there. So,
it seems the bigger concern is the academic side rather than the activity side.
Yeah. Get to work on that. All right. Rob, these darn committee letters, the bane of my existence. Any reason to hold off submitting secondaries until my committee letter is sent in? Letter was supposed to be done 8/15, approaching 2-week mark on secondaries. I know secondary incomplete without it. The application's incomplete without that committee letter. Send it in. Send in the secondary. Control what you can control, and
just get them off your plate.
Yeah. Are we submitting that talk to NAP? Like, please, for the love of God, stop doing committee letters. That should be the title of the session.
Isn't that the talk in its entirety?
Yeah. Period. End of story. Yeah. I think we should try to do that. Maybe I'll submit that one and then get some panel discussion. Try to get some data or something. I don't know. Dinobot, when's the latest you recommend adding new schools to AMCAS? So Courtney, let's assume they're already verified and they just want to add some more schools. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier of potentially the school sees that you're not super interested in them, but any specific timeline you would recommend? There's just risk benefit.
I mean, the latest, I don't like that word already. You need to do it now. You need to add them now. I know people would like to think that there's kind of secretly some like give and take, a little bit of an ebb and flow, but the timelines don't move very much, and the admissions process runs in that background, and it is a process, and we're churning and burning.
Interviews are out.
Yeah.
We are 6 to 7 weeks from the first set of acceptances. I mean, it's happening at this point.
Yeah. And we can say that with a lot of confidence just because we track our students who's getting interview invites from kind of what school and when things are going out. So we know very well what's out already. So the latest is like today, end of month, that would be helpful. Anything going forward, right? Like we usually say, there's a lot of risk associated with it. But do what you got to do, but just know it comes with risk.
Yep. I have my first MMI interview, Albany, 5 stations are discussions and 1 is acting. I love that they tell you that, or maybe you read it on SDN. Any tips on what to expect and how to prepare? I love MMIs.
I hate MMIs.
I do too. I do too.
What do you hate about them?
God. I don't feel like I have a chance to get to know the student in an MMI. It's a standard question. Yeah,
Yep.
I get a rubric, all that good stuff. But when I did interviews, I loved the conversation. I loved that opportunity to pivot when they tell me something random that I can just engage with them. The MMI does not afford that.
Yeah.
Which is the point of the MMI, right? It's to not allow that connection and potential bias to come in.
I mean, and that's fair, but I also think when I've looked at interview reports from 2 different people interviewing the same person at 2 different times, many times the feedback was very similar and the engagement was very similar. So if you're looking at inter-rater reliability and consistency, I still don't know that a traditional interview doesn't give that.
Yeah.
You're still looking for the same thing. It's just a preference thing, right?
Yeah.
The style.
Preference or resource.
Yeah. So, I mean, my advice is treat it like real life. I always say that every day when we go out and interact with the world, that is an MMI. Every decision that you make is a decision that you potentially are making in an MMI. And so when you're presented with some random scenario for the MMI, you go, this is a little strange, and let's treat it like real life, right? What would it look like if I was in this situation? What would I think? What would I ask? What would I say? That's all they're looking for, is that thought process and communication of that thought process. So any other thoughts other than you don't like them?
I mean, I think with the acting this is where you expect the unexpected. You have to be comfortable going with the flow because the SP or the faculty or whoever is the actor they have a script and they're gonna make you feel uncomfortable. They're gonna question your decisions. They're gonna question kind of what you're doing, and you got to work through all of that ambiguity a little bit.
Yeah. SP for those who don't know that term yet, standardized patient. You'll get lots of interactions with those SPs during medical school.
Yeah. Banter. Don't go in and be like, well, it looks like your blood sugar is really high, or pick up on subtle details. Like they're here for a follow-up visit. Okay, don't go in and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so. How are you doing? Like, go in with something different. Like, hey, how you been? How are the kids? Right?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you. How are things going?
Lead with curiosity.
Yeah. Oh, question levels of understanding and things like that. It's never going to be about how much you know about glucose.
Yep.
I can teach you a lot about that and how to manage it. I'm looking for the bedside skill set of being able to have that type of interaction. I'll teach you the science behind it in med school. But with MMI, I think my tip would just be get comfortable, like talking out loud about your thought process, because a lot of people have stories or examples that they think they're going to bring forward. But then once it comes to being on the spot and verbalizing it, a lot of details that would have been incredibly valuable to the interviewer go out the window, and you strip it of everything helpful for the sake of brevity or not wanting to ramble. And we're just getting like step 1, step 2, step 3 instead of step 1. This is what I do. Sub-step, asterisk. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I hope it leads to. Step 2. Right. And so having that internal monologue or kind of deduction come out of your mouth in an eloquent way, you just have to get used to it. It comes through repetition. And we teach a lot of people that I don't have a single opening the rest of the week. I'm doing straight MMI or traditional mock interviews. So
much.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
My boy Blue, I did a mock interview with my school's career center. Some feedback I received was to talk with my hands and lean in to be more personable. This seems to be the opposite of what I've heard. Christine, advice is, right? Everyone has their opinions on what works, what doesn't. I'm always a little cautious about career center interviews because business interviews, job interviews are not med school, in my opinion, are not med school interviews. And so I'm always a little bit cautious. Not to say that those people aren't great at what they do, but it's just a different interview style.
It is.
Do you think talking with hands and leaning in is bad feedback or good feedback? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't want to judge the feedback, but I will say that in a mock interview recently, I told somebody they talked with their hands too much and it was distracting.
I don't know what
Sit
you
on
mean.
them.
Why just
Sit on your hands.
movement. Yeah, I say clasp them and keep them below the camera, and if you have to move them, keep them below the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
can
think-
talk like an accordion, like our president.
Yeah, and I think leaning in, I mean, I guess that's fine.
On Zoom, like, do you really tell the difference here?
Right. But then again, in a recent mock interview, I had somebody and I'm a fidgeter. I know who I am. And this
Yeah.
person was all over the place, hands, body. I'm like, you got to stop moving. I mean, you've got to stop. And I think if that's not your natural position to be in, you're automatically setting yourself up for failure because you're going to wiggle a little bit because you think, oh, I have to lean forward. And then you're going to lean forward. And then you're going to relax and get comfortable again. And then you're going to lean forward again. And I feel like it's going to be too distracting, personally.
Yeah. I mean, you could get creative. Like I use software for my camera, so you can like play and be like, so as I'm talking, I can zoom in slowly.
Don't ever do that. That would be so weird. Don't.
Like, what's going on here?
Don't ever do that.
It's like when you're sitting at a light and the car next to you starts moving, and you're like, wait, am I moving?
Yeah, that would be so weird.
Also, they told me to include my path to going into healthcare in the tell me about yourself question.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
So it's interesting. Let me let me clarify. So in my book, my first book that I ever wrote, I actually wrote about including a little bit about why medicine and tell me about yourself. I no longer teach that, and I stopped teaching it very quickly because nobody was good at doing it. And so I'm like, just keep them separate. They're going to ask you why you want to be a doctor anyway. So just keep them separate. And I need to update the book.
Oh my goodness. So, Don't do
that. The problem is you get so focused on, and I actually will tell students this. I'm like, I need you to be a human, not a pre-med student for this one question. That's it. Just be a human.
100%.
If you're introducing yourself to me in any other setting, what would you tell me about yourself?
Yeah.
You are allowed to actually be a human. In fact, we'd like to see that you are a human somewhere in there.
Yep. Yeah. It's almost, I've never put it in these terms before. I always talk about the coffee shop, but as students, I think the experiences that students have are showing up on campus for the first time, and it could be different each year, and meeting your new roommates for the first time. And so you show up in the dorm room or your apartment and you meet your new roommate. Like, what does that conversation look like? You're not going to jump into, well, like when I was 10, I had a surgery and then I always wanted to be a doctor.
And
right?
this is
going to talk about where you're from and your family, your hobbies. Like, you're going to talk about life.
Mm-hmm.
I liken it. We all have a different analogy going at like the exact same thing. Because I say, treat it like it's speed dating, right? Like, you have 2 to 3 minutes. You're going around and introducing yourself at a high level. You want it to have some personality or some context of your lived experience, a little bit about family, where you grew up, a little bit about life, hobbies, interests, things like that. Give me some context of where you're at in school and what you're studying. But, you know, exactly. If you go in weird, like 3 things you need to understand about me, it's just, it's so awkward. It's so awkward. Don't do that. Just high level overview of you as a person to kick off an interview and give me some context. It's like all I'm looking for with that question.
And honestly, I use that question going back to why I don't like MMIs is I like the tidbits of information because then I can
Yeah.
piggyback on it. And I
Yeah.
try to calm the student down and say, oh, you like to travel. Where do you like to go? I hate
Yeah.
flying. I love to go places. And I will have a little sidebar chat. One, because I tell them, I'm like, I'm nosy. I like to know things. But two, it's just fun to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Is MMI like role play? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Can be.
Which is kind of a skill in of itself. So, does an MPH add any value to my med school application? No. Quick, rapid fire questions. Here's one from Instagram. If you see a hold in the portal, is this a soft rejection? How many
UCSD.
% move to interview from this pool? Courtney, a hold, I often say, it's like someone who's like, yeah, I'm free Friday and I might want to hang out with you, but I'm going to see if there's a better offer that comes along. Yeah.
I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
But there is some potential to that. If you have things missing, obviously they're going to place you on hold. If they place you on like an interview hold, it is kind of like, we've got some different priorities right now. It may just be they have a lot of early decision. They've got a lot of post-bac students. They have a lot of like high mission fit regional ones that they have to get to first, and they're going to kind of see what comes in the rest of the cycle. So there may be some directives that come into play at the beginning, but a rejection is a rejection. So if you haven't been rejected, there is still opportunity always.
Yep.
And because rejections are pretty easy to send. It's a click of a button on the back end to change somebody's life like that. And so
it's that easy to ruin someone's life.
But,
yeah.
I think we both crush plenty of dreams that way. But
is it a big red button?
No, it's a very easy to miss button that you have to be neurotic and double check that you're doing correctly. But there's still opportunity, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not a rejection yet.
And I don't think schools are transparent enough to know who comes off that soft hold list or not. Because you don't know, again, you don't know the reason exactly that you're on that hold. I think the biggest thing to take in that is they haven't rejected you. And I think that's all you can take from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love.
And maybe.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and maybe like, haven't heard from them in like 2 months. They accept update letters. You have something to update them on that's significant. That can be a great opportunity to kind of reintroduce yourself. Make sure that thing is spotless when you send it, because an ugly little poorly formatted email will give you an answer pretty quickly. They're going to be like, okay, reject.
Yeah.
So always be thoughtful, but give it some time.
And not crazy.
Right?
Please don't be crazy.
Yeah. We're so early in the cycle still, as far as moving through candidates. It started, but it's like, give it some time here.
I know UCSD just sent out a whole bunch of pre-interview holds because I got no less than like 10 emails about it.
Yeah.
And they don't accept updates. And so the freak out is real.
Yeah.
You just have to wait.
Yep.
And the Superman pose, that would have been an awesome interview start. I saw the
our friend Vanity Nutrition saying she was doing her Superman pose, which I talk about in the book. There's a TED Talk by Amy Cuddy that talks about these power poses that help that have shown biologically, physiologically to help our mood and our confidence. And so like power poses, like spreading your arms out on chairs, and Superman pose, Superwoman pose. So yeah, those are good ones.
Just don't do this one. I've seen this one before.
Definitely not a power pose. Just chill.
Yeah, no, great. I'm
Head
so
nod.
relatable. I'm so chatty. Like,
Remember, lean in too.
casual. Yeah, like if you're doing this, I'm out. I'm already out. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, Will says Loyola uses AI to score each applicant automatically before human review. Yeah, that's super common these days. So, nothing new. NYU does it. Again, Dean Rivera, Dr. Rivera, who's going to be at MAPSCON, mapscon.com, September 13th. So be there. He and I have talked on and off about AI that they use. I think they were one of the first. He's presented on it several times. It doesn't get the best reception from people because they're like, you're taking the humans out of it. And he's like, the humans trained it, and it does exactly the same kind of review and score as the humans did. It's just faster. So he's going to come on the pre-med years at some point soon, and we'll deep dive into the AI world and how it's ruining everything. Question: do medical schools take into account school prestige or rigor, top 10 especially, coming for a school where the average GPA for STEM is 3.4? Thanks, everyone. Get mapped. Yeah, thanks. Courtney, this is such a common question that students are like, I have a 3.3, but it's from Berkeley. It's from Stanford. It's from Harvard. Do schools have the time to create a sliding scale for all these different institutions? Do they care?
Well, you don't have to. They don't have to. There's a whole book that's about this big in paperback that I often got put on my desk. I think it's called Barrett's or Bear, something with the B. They do it all for you. Yeah. They rank everything.
Some care,
this is hard to answer. Yeah, this is kind of hard. I have had discussions nationally of some people who do take this into consideration when they're looking at a GPA, and value it slightly differently than, if you're a branch campus, it's a little bit smaller than a major institution, hard to get into, notorious for being difficult graders. Yes, I do think to a point this is taken into consideration.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
It could be. Right?
Yeah, it's going to be each person, but it could come into play.
Yeah.
I don't know if the T10 is going to be the same. Like schools amongst each other, like there's maybe some that kind of band together, but I'm not sure everyone agrees on the top 10. But as far as rigor of the coursework and output potentially is considered, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to mitigate if you have a 3.4 GPA in the sciences and you went to one of those schools that's a notoriously hard grader. I don't think it's going to mitigate that, right? There's still, the median GPA is 3.7, 3.8 for a reason. And when you look at the GPAs of some of these top 10 schools, they're even higher. So you can't use that. Like I've had people try to say, but I went to such and such a school and it's notoriously this. I don't think they care that much.
Well, and what med school is not notoriously hard? Like it's not a good excuse. You're kind of highlighting that maybe you're not ready to hit a notoriously hard bit of content. So it's looked at, it's thought about, may not offset, right? I think.
Sean has a good question. What goes into whether an applicant is ready to apply in terms of experiences? Thinking about seeking advice on this before I apply myself. John, we have a Am I Ready kind of session. It's a 30-minute call with our team where you lay out everything and we chat about it. Christine, we often talk about we were kind of joking about this last night at our parent workshop of having that initial call with a student and saying, you're not ready to apply, in my humble opinion, right? I would recommend waiting a year and working on X, Y, and Z. How do you evaluate that? What are you looking at?
I actually have a conversation and I talk about it in a bucket sense. And I literally go through each of the big buckets. I start with academics. Do you have any concerns? What are they? We lay them out. What is your clinical experience? And when I define each bucket, I tell them what I expect to hear about under that specific bucket. But even before I get into my part of that, I will ask them, and I think I've said this before, what concerns do you have about what you're bringing to the table?
Yeah.
And I would say 9 times out of 10, students will say, well, I'm concerned that I don't have enough of something. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And then we'll go through each of the things. And I will base it on what I feel is a gap. And the gap could be, my common gap is always going to be clinical, because that seems to be where students have the biggest gap. What have you done? What does it look like? Can you articulate why you want to be a doctor? Beyond the fact that you fell at 10, broke your leg, and the doctor treated you well, and you felt seen and heard, and all the things that I've read about a few times. Have you gone beyond that rose-colored glasses of, I want to be like him when I grow up? Have you had those experiences? And if you can't, I have red flags. If you tell me that over the course of the time that you've been in college or you've been wherever, you've got maybe 50 hours of clinical experience total, even though you've been doing it for 2 years, like you're doing it 30 minutes a week. I mean, so there's things like that. And I try to think about, at least in my head, what are some of the things that I've seen other applicants do who are successful? How would you compare to them side by side? And I don't necessarily do side by side comparisons, but I always want to keep those things in mind. But I go through each of the buckets of things: academics, clinical, research, community service, extracurricular, leadership, and everything else falls into number 5. And I try to assess where you are.
Yeah. We have a tool that is basically developed that will kind of give you some ideas of your readiness based on we as a team got together and created a rubric. I haven't rolled it out yet because I do my fear is that a sophomore student's going to go use it. Like, it's just the data is going to be so incomplete. So I do want to adjust it for like where in the process they are, and so I haven't gotten back into adjusting it for that. But yeah, stay tuned for that. And then schedule a 30-minute call with the team, and they'll give you the cold hard truth of what they think based on their experiences of students that they work with year in and year out here at medical school headquarters who are being successful, and from their director of admissions experiences who isn't getting in or wasn't getting in. So medicalschoolhq.net for that.
And do it before you're ready to write your personal statement, and you have a personal statement meeting where we tell you, I don't know why you want to go to med school. Yep. And this is the best you can articulate.
Yep.
Or all right, catch those gaps, and you can't do anything about it because the application cycle opens in 2 months. So
100%.
Do it now.
Do it now.
All right. We're here almost every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, premed.tv. Go check out everything else that we do on YouTube. Lots of series, podcasts, all kinds of fun stuff for free. And MAPSCON.com, our virtual pre-health fair, September 13th, all day on that Saturday. Go check that out. Courtney, Christine, thanks for hanging out today.
Yeah, thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
It was fun. Bye.